Hey there friends, very informal video today, mainly because I'm kind of in a holding pattern right now. A lot of times the way I keep my content on the channel relevant to you guys out there is I try to make it timely. In other words, I will do research through the night and into the morning to create my video for that day so that it's not a video about something that happened 5 days prior. What I'm waiting on right now is the Epstein list and maybe flight log, although some of that information had already been released before. But here's why. Pam Bondi claims that today, that list, at least a portion of it, will be released.
That you have the Epstein files on your desk is, when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have, well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah. What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay, well, we'll
along
look
with
for
his
that.
Co-defendant.
Absolutely, and he had help. That's for
He
sure.
sure did.
Now, honestly, guys, I don't know how you square the fact that there are more than 250 victims, according to Bondi in that report right there. But no one has been arrested. I don't know how we go through. Now, granted, Epstein, who didn't kill himself, and Maxwell, his partner. I'm talking about the other people, I'm not going to say 250 people because some of these people, I'm sure, were repeat offenders. So it doesn't mean that because there's 250 victims that there's going to be 250 pervs that committed these acts. But there's a lot. There ain't 10. And there ain't 20. There's a lot. And there's a lot of powerful people. We still need to be asking ourselves how Epstein got all of his money. He was born a poor person and became a billionaire, not a hedge fund manager or whatever you want to call it. That's all BS. But how did we get here where a case that is this old, a bodybuilder is housed with Epstein, crushes his neck, and they say he hung himself. That's all been disproven. Nobody's talking about it. Members from Congress that act like they don't know what the Epstein list is. Dick Durbin has been on video talking about how he didn't know that there was an Epstein list. He just knew who Epstein was.
Why won't you subpoena Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs?
So who are you?
Hillary Vaughn with Fox.
With Fox, of course. I don't know anything about his flight logs.
But why won't you subpoena them? Why don't you want to know?
I don't even know the issue. I know who Epstein was, but I certainly don't know anything about the issue.
Well, he was charged with sex trafficking, so why don't you want to know who was utilizing his private plane?
Never been raised by anyone.
Well, Senator Blackburn has wanted to subpoena them, and there hasn't been a vote in your committee.
Said a word to me, not a word.
But aren't you curious, like, what high-profile or powerful people might be closeted predators and pedophiles? Doesn't that concern you?
Of course.
So why won't you subpoena them if you can?
It's the first time anyone has raised it. Thank you, Fox.
That was a lie. There's not anybody, at least within the borders of America, I would imagine, who don't know what's going on with the whole Epstein thing. That's why there's such an outcry for it, because we're all wondering where the list is. How do you have, and people are getting paid off. Prince Andrew paid off one of the people that, one of the young ladies who was a child at the time, paid off for her to shut up. One of the victims that he did his thing with. And I have to be careful with my wording so that YouTube doesn't take the video down. So obviously, nobody's denying these things happen. You understand what I'm saying? It's not a conspiracy. Everyone knows this happened. Everyone knows these people were underaged. Everyone knows that there are millionaires, billionaires, very famous people that are part of this. I don't want to say just the flight log, because the flight log to me, look, I was never on Epstein's island or his airplane. But I would imagine there are people who probably flew on his airplane that maybe weren't like that. Maybe, and I'm being very, very, very fair here. Maybe somebody who went to the island wasn't like that, but let's be real. Do you think there's more people who were on that flight log or less people that were part of that crowd? I think we all know the answer to that. I think those answers are going to be very, very high profile people. I think they're going to be direct CIA contacts. You guys know that. I mean, how can Epstein not have been a product of the CIA? I mean, not having a relationship with him. I'm talking about, I think he is a direct product. How else do you control? That's what the CIA does, controls other countries, destabilizes them, then goes in there and stabilizes them. How else do you control another country by any other means besides blackmail? That's the only way to do it. You can't, if you have nothing on somebody, they tell you, F you. Go to the public, go to the media. I don't care. I did nothing wrong. You can't tell me all these creeps that we have seen in Congress and leaders of the world, that all of them, we've seen them, we can spot them a mile away. Don't even get into the, oh, that's kind of, that's bigoted to say that you can spot that. Anyone who has dealt in personnel, as I have, and probably most of you or many of you have, you can spot a scumbag and a creep a mile away. Don't ask me to draw you a picture of them because I can't. But when I see them, I know. You know how you sit back and you go, something's just not right about that person. Your gut, in many cases, is right. Tell me I'm wrong. Many of you out there watching this, when you have that funny feeling, it may not reveal itself right away, but when you have that funny feeling, doesn't it usually get confirmed? Don't you usually go, I knew it! I knew it! You do. These people in DC and leaders around the world, there's a lot that's going to happen. If we get a redacted list, I'm going to be so pissed off. They claim the list is not going to be redacted. They claim that the victims are the only people who are going to be redacted off of any of the information. I think that that's a long shot. I mean, I would be very surprised if they release this list with no redactions. I'm not talking about the victims. I'm talking about the pervs. I don't think that's possible. I think that we have too many leaders of businesses, community, government. There are way too many people in there. If you were to just simply, let's put it this way. If you were to lock up every single person, and I mean, you can't really do that because, again, we talk about this kind of stuff in the gun industry, due process and all that. Let's say the list is legit, non-redacted, and we go through the court process and lock up every single person. You realize how many heads of state and how many heads of governments and how many people in the federal government, in foreign governments that are going to be included, and things just start to unravel. And you don't think that some of these people who have bit their tongue and not said anything for all these years, if they get hemmed up on all this, that they're not going to start singing? They're all going to sing. For every one person that you lock up or you corner that's going to be on that list that did something wrong, they probably know 50 more. And probably 30 of them aren't on that list. So don't think that we have every pervert that's ever done anything like this on that list. There's a whole lot more. Birds of a feather flock together. So this has the ability to crumble way more than the number of people who are actually on that list. I see this having tentacles that goes out farther, 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 and this can disrupt a lot of stuff. Now, I'm not saying don't release the list. I'm ready to sit back and eat my popcorn and watch the pieces fall. I'm ready to watch governments crumble if I have to. I did find it interesting, as a lot of people, especially on the left, because a lot of their friends are on this list, and there's going to be a lot of people on the right on it too. I'm not saying this is a left versus right thing, but for the anti-Trump people out there, they have come out fervently in the past and said that Donald Trump's on that list. I think you're going to find out that Donald Trump did not like Jeffrey Epstein.
I was not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein, and you watched people yesterday saying that I threw him out of a club. I didn't want anything to do with him. That was many, many years ago. it shows you one thing, that I have good taste. Okay? Now, other people, they went all over with him. They went to his island. They went all over the place. He was very well known in Palm Beach. His island, whatever his island was, wherever it is, I was never there. Find out the people that went to the island. But Jeffrey Epstein was not somebody that I respected. I threw him out. In fact, I think the great James Patterson, who's a member of Mar-a-Lago, made a statement yesterday that many years ago I threw him out. I'm not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein.
That has got to freak the CIA and everybody else out. Because if Donald Trump and any of his, let's say his son or whomever, apparently they don't have anything on Trump, or else he wouldn't be so adamant about, release the list. That has got to freak the CIA and all these other people out who might have assumed he was on the list, or at least thought that, yeah, surely Trump was a part of this. That has got to, to not have anything on this guy who is already a disruptor, meaning Donald Trump, has got to be one of the scariest things in the world. And if he truly does not have any hand in this, I'm not talking about, again, like if he flew on the plane or whatever. I'm talking about if Trump was not involved in any of this nastiness that we're about to find out about. He, to me, has so much leverage over so many other people out there. Because whether they were just doing their job or not, if the CIA, like I think they have, had a major hand in not only helping this happen, but pushing this and grooming people to get something on them so they would gain leverage on them, the CIA alone broke a lot of laws and did some nasty stuff. The CIA may not operate by the same rules as everybody else, but the CIA is going to be exposed as way more of an intelligence organization, I believe, once all of the dust settles in all of this. Again, that's why I don't have a really complicated video today. I'm sitting here waiting for this list to come out, because the moment it does, I'm going to hit the road running and I'm going to do some investigation in this. And I will be posting on X. I'll be posting everywhere, probably even on YouTube, as far as a picture of the list or whatever. But I'm waiting for this to come out. I have paused all of my research from last night into today, waiting. It's supposed to be today. Today is Thursday, by the way, February 27th. So today is when, according to Bondi, all this is going to come out.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. It's over.